So, good evening. I wanted to post. I basically it was like I woke up this morning and I needed to find some work. A friend of mine that I'd done for a while ago, and I do try to keep everything really really organized, but stuff just falls apart. But I managed to find a drive that I had really organized everything that I had done. Um, and I don't really recall. Um, Hospice lab. So that was 22. It was January 1922 or 2022. So that's like 4 years ago. So 4 years ago, um, I was I was living in the UK, and I worked on a bunch of Wes Anderson films, but only it's like because I grew up with him, and I know him. I've known him, and he's a lovely man. And I worked with him, but the, in the UK because that's where he was making all those films. But the best part of it was the model makers and the animators, like from Mr. Fox and ah man, it's like it felt like Willy Wonka. Like it felt like I had just like been given the keys to a chocolate factory. It was just great. So it's like I initially started out as a photographer, and I just went around and like any like behind the scenes stuff you see, um, I did that, and it was really great because it was like, and I didn't get paid that much. It was like, but I would just hang out and photograph them and videotape them, and I got to be really good friends with all those guys, like the model makers and stuff. And they're just, it's one of the few places that I've been where you walk in at any time of the day, and pretty much 70% of the people in there are smiling. It's like they're just all happy. It's like they all just kind of died and went to heaven. They're doing what, and the pace. And the thing is the pace of an animated film is really slow. It's fucking perfect because it's like what they do is they have like 12. I know they have a ton. They basically like, they take a sound stage, massive sound stage, but then they cut it up in all these little tiny plywood black spaces with little stages, and they build, so at any time I would say there's maybe 10 animators. I could be wrong. There are stages set up for 10 animators to work on what they have to do, and sometimes it would take 3 days, sometimes it would take 3 weeks. And while they're doing that work, all the prop makers and stuff are setting up the next ones. So when that guy's done with that, he can go to this one. And it's so fucking organized. But because it's all so meticulous and slow, it's like, if you've ever worked in the film business, it's like, we needed that yesterday, and but this was like, oh, it's tea time. Let's go grab some tea. And they were all like, I remember I was working on Mr. Fox, and there was this woman that was making these pigeons or the birds when they go in there and they steal the chickens out of the coop. I know I'm talking, and and um, and they she was working on it, and I was looking at it, and it's like, I don't know anybody my age, or look it up on YouTube. Clash of the Titans. It was a movie. Ray Harryhausen, the king of all of this stop frame animation, and everybody in this place where I work, everybody's got a story about that they got to meet him at some point in time in their life. They traveled like to Paris for some convention and got to meet Ray Harryhausen. Which honestly, it's like, yeah, that shit gives me goosebumps. But anyway, so they in Clash of the Titans, there was this beautiful. There was like the sidekick, which was this jeweled owl. Okay, really lovely. Like had, like clockwork. It behaved like clockwork, and really brilliant. Really, really brilliant. And I was telling the woman, I was going, and I don't know who she was. I don't remember. My apologies, um, if you watch this. But because I'd go and I'd photograph him, and it's like I'd photograph him, and then I would put my camera down, and I'd just start asking him questions, like, how do you do this? What's this? What's this about? It's just amazing. It's literally amazing. It just, if I had it to do all over again, I would be an animator or a prop maker. If I could go back in time, that would have been gold for me. But I'm too old. I can't do that now. But anyway, so I told her, I said, "Man, have you seen Clash of the Titans?" She started laughing. I go, "What?" I said, "This looks just like the bird in Clash of the Titans." And she said, "I mentored under the guy who made that." Like, which is really cool. That whole, the British society, the whole kind of way, that old school way of like, if you want to learn a trade, you go find somebody that does it and then you work. You're his understudy, Like I went, my brother-in-law gave me these really lovely chisels. And I was like, "Oh, thanks for the chisels." And I was looking at him and he goes, "No, the thing you got to look at is it." So like, say you want to be a cabinet maker in old school Britain. You go and you find a guy and he teaches you this stuff, wax on, wax off, the whole lot. And then once you've graduated, when he feels that you are ready, he has a set of chisels, to do dado cuts and like and that, the finger joints of like a cabinetry and all that, whatever. And the guy gives him his set, which was given to him. And each time you give it to somebody, you put a mark on the handle, so you're passing it down. So my brother-in-law, and I didn't even know this, so he gave it to me, and I was like, "Oh, thanks." He goes, "No, let me point this out to you." There were 5 notches on these, so these are like old. But the whole, like, the objects that have energy, it's just like, these are fucking brilliant. And it's a story piece, it's just like these amazing things. But anyway, it's like, it was that same kind of thing. It's like when this woman, she obviously really wanted to do this. So she went and searched and found like these guys and said, this guy said, "Can I work as your understudy, and learn your ways, show me the way, but the whole place was like that. And they were just all so happy. It was so great. But I stopped doing the photography stuff because I just got fed up with it. It was just, I wasn't getting paid enough, and it was like, and I've always been a sculptor. I went to school for sculpture, and I got into the 3D stuff, Blender. 2016, I think I started doing Blender, and because it was free, and there's tons of even back in 2016, it's like there was tons of tutorials out there. And it's just great. It's a great community. It's the same thing. It's like, it feels like the same thing as like these animators and prop makers and stuff. But anyway, so he 2024, is that what I said what this was? 24, 22, something like that. But they built everything, and like the stuff they built, really mad. Like watches, like watches that are this big, that you turn and the fucking hands go around. Like, it's just fucking mental stuff you'd never see. And Wes was really into it, And he found this group of people that are making this stuff that are really into it. It was just a marriage made in heaven. It's not, I love Wes, but it's like those animated films are not Wes Anderson films. They're collaborative. They are Wes working with all these really hardcore prop model makers, and And then the other thing they do that's really brilliant is they finish this game and they finish this job with the animators and stuff. And then they go to Leica, on the West Coast. And they all, and that's what they do. And then they go to Paris. Like, they're always working. And they're always happy. I'm sure they make good money, but it's like, they just really enjoy their work. It's like, So anyway, sorry. I do, let's just be safe to say that it's like, I just really love these guys. But anyway, so he got to where it didn't make any sense to pay these guys to make something that possibly could be printed in 3D. And it was kind of like something that it's like, I remember him saying, I'm not going to do that. What do I need to do that? But then it was just like the technology got better. They got those ones that you dip in the liquid gel and pull out. And they just started doing, they started doing stuff that like, that doesn't really require that, Like, this guy's really brilliant at doing this. Let him do this. The printer could do this. It doesn't really matter. They're doing so many little things. It just made more sense to do this. So he asked me, or I think I just kind of stepped my foot in. He was like, yeah, we're going to look. I said, I got a sculpture degree. I'm like really good at this stuff. And he's like, oh, really? Well, I'll keep that in mind. And then he calls me like 4 or 5 months later. It's like, hey, do you want to do this and this and this? So there was a scene and to be honest with you, I watched it, but I wasn't really paying attention. There's a scene in that's one of those Netflix things he did, those shorts, where there's a cafe, and the camera goes into the cafe by the cafe splitting, the facade of it splits open so that the camera can go in. So if I'm the camera, it splits open and then it goes in, and then you're in this space, and it's all, it's all, even though it wasn't an animated, it was meant to be like a, I don't really know. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'm talking out the side of my head. But he needed this lamp, which is this thing right here, okay? He needed this lamp to be able to split in half. And they found the lamp that they wanted in Paris somewhere at some shop. They gave me like about 10 or 15 photographs, like right there. They were, it was like they went in and they put it on the ground and took a bunch of pictures, whatever. So I had to kind of like, and then, with the tape measure so that I could kind of get a grip on how. So I built this. I didn't build it in Blender. I built it in this program on the iPad called Shaper 3D or Shaper something. It's kind of like that. It's a NURB space. It's a NURB space, and it's really fucking cool. Like, I do really like it. Like this shape here, the top awning, is perfect for that. Like the way it works, it was able, But so what happens is that this is in the camera. Say we're the camera, and then there's the roof. Oh, eraser. Annotate. So there's the roof here, and then there's like columns, and then I think the door is here. But everything splits right down the middle, including this lamp, so that they splits and everything moves apart, and then the camera goes into the shot. So they needed this thing 3D printed and made, and I think it's really fucking brilliant, but only because I don't remember making it. I don't know how. Like, I'm really good at this shit because it's like, Well, not anymore. I'm getting older. But I can figure anything out like that. But it doesn't stay in my brain. It does not stay in my brain that long. And it's like, I just don't know. I don't know how. And it's like I made it to where, like, these are the glass panes, so that they could 3D print the glass panes to put the glass panes in. Or I don't even think they printed it. I think they just needed to cut it, and everything's to scale. But it's just really, and it looks just, I mean, I'm sorry to be patting my own back, but it's like literally I haven't looked at this stuff since I did it. And I'm kind of, I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm getting really lazy. Like, I need to be challenged to do shit like this again. And it's like, I think I did this. I think that was sculpted. It has to have been sculpted. I just made, it's like, it's just a quarter. So I think that was, but again, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I did that. I could have done I think maybe I did a curve shape and then a loft and then ballooned all of these bits out. Because that curve, and then just like ballooned everything and then got it the way I needed it, and then I sculpted it. I turned it into a dense mesh and I sculpted it. But that looks almost like I did, I don't know. But it took me forever. It took me forever to figure out how to do it. And then once I figured out how to do it, then it was easy. It was like a no-brainer. But it's just, it doesn't, I can't move it. Oh, there it is. Because the inside, it's like, because I had to make it as well. See, I had to make it from the inside as well, because you'd be seeing, well, nobody saw it, Nobody fucking gave a shit, But it's like the details on it were like everything, like, like I'm looking at the photos and I'm like, well, I got to put this ridge here. Like, who's going to see that? And this had to be round. It wasn't like, it was just all this like, and the nice thing is it was like, if you look at it really close, what it was made of was tin, was really thin tin. And then these beveled areas were actually like copper pipe that was split in half and then mitered and then soldered. Like, the whole thing was soldered together. It was like from like 1900s, like this thing was built. So it was really helpful to look at it, and like this bit here, this was all soldered in here, and then that was cut out, and then this was actually threaded in, as well as this. Like, this was a thread that held that piece in, and then I don't know where that went, So I was kind of building it. It was easier to build, I think, because you could see how it was built. Like, I could see, like, these bits were, each one of them, see if you could see here, each one of these was hand stamped, was like stamped, like press stamped, like on a machine that just went ka-tunk, ka-tunk, ka-tunk. And those were stamped, and then these you can't see it. These ridges here, they were then soldered onto that, So it was like, and this, I don't know, But it was fun. It was fun. It was like, but it's, it wasn't. It's the friends I made. That was what really kind of like, I'm still friends with them. I'm always talking to them. I did some work for them last week. Just odd shit. It doesn't really pay. It doesn't pay that much. But it's, it's kind of what you want to, when you get to be 60, it's the kind of stuff you really just kind of want to be working on. You don't want to be yelled at. Like, Like, God damn it, we needed that yesterday. You know, fuck that shit. I just want to, I want to sit back, have some tea, maybe a beer, make it, and at the end of the day, kind of look at it and say, yeah. And it's good because it's exactly what that thing looked like. And I learned a lot from it. I forgot it all, you know. But I did learn. I had, you know, I mean, that's the thing that's like about Blender, that it's like you know, it's a perfect platform to learn how to do something. Any 3D, Houdini, all that stuff. It's like to learn how to do it, and then, you know, and then forget, you know, which is kind of great because it's the only way for me to sit back here and just really kind of like, you know, just say, look what I did. Because that's like, I'm fucking impressed. Because I couldn't do that now. I really don't. It's like, I don't have time. I can't be bothered. Sketchfab. I'll just get on Sketchfab. I don't even do this. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later.